through the numbers up to 100. But of course, I'm not going to mention all of them. I'm just going to go about how we go about it. So we have how we go about number 1 to 10. And remember, it's not an, it's because and like any other sound that is consonant at the end of a word in French is always silent. So the word number 1 is un, or number 2, do, number 3, trois, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Okay, we continue. Number 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, and I'm sure you have your note. I want to believe that you have your notes with you. You're going through this, okay? And then we have what? Up to we've gone up to number 13, 13, 13, 14, 14. Now with 14, we have a bit of problems because of this pronunciation and the spelling. Some of you will write 14, which is wrong. It should be 14, 14. So the R is at the end, not before T. All right, 14. Just before the Z is when you have the R with 14, 14. Then you have 15, 15, 16, 16. And now the pronunciation of 16 and 6 are very close because 6 is 6, 17, 16 is says. All right, so you need to be very careful with the pronunciation, especially when you're speaking, because you could get people confused. Then we have 17, 17, and now that is where the addition begins in French, because when you're talking about 17, it's 10 and 7, 17. Then 18, 18, 19, 19, and 20, 20. Now, most people would say 20, 20, 20. That is up to you. But the T is silent when you say 20, all right? 20. And then we have 21, 21. That is, you're pronouncing the with the T, and then A, and then and 1, 20 and 1. 22, 22. Now from there, we don't have A. And that goes for all numbers. That goes for 30, that goes for 40, that goes for 50, that also goes for 60. All right? And 71, 71, 71, 31, 41, 51, 61. All right? 60 and 1, 50 and 1, 40 and 1, 30 and 1, 20 and 1. But when it comes now to the second one, third one, fourth one, up to the ninth one, 22, 23, 34, 45, 66, okay? But when you get to the 70s, is where we now increase our level of mathematics. That's where we start saying 40, 60, 11, 72. That means 60 and 12, all right? 72. And then we have 73, that is 60 and 13. So you go that way until you get to 77, 60 and 17, that is 77. 78, 79, all right? And then eventually we end up at 80, which is now where we start multiplying things, and we have a multiplication there, that is 80. 80 means 4 20s. So we are already multiplying things there. So 80 is 80, 80 or rather. And the 20 there has an S, all right? The 20 there, no, 80 Does not have an S, sorry. Does not have an S. 80. All right, then now move to 81. 81. 4 20s and 1. 81. Then we have 82. The series continues. When it comes to 81, it's 81. 4, 85, 89. And then when you get to 90, 90s, 80, and you add 90. So you're multiplying and adding at the same time. 90s, 90. Then we have 91, 91. The same way we worked with the 70s is the same way we're working with the 90s. 91, 91. 92, 92. So we go up to 99. 99. Okay. 99 is 99. So that's how we go. And then the easiest one is the 100, which is so. Yeah. So when you're telling your friend nataka so moja, you're borrowing from French, literally. Because 100 in French is so, all right? And we don't say and so, we simply say so. 100 is simply so, okay? So you want to say you have 100 shillings, you say, j'ai 100 shillings. I have 100 shillings. But if you want to talk about more, then so is spelled C-E-N-T, like cent. C-E-N-T, like cent. Okay. Now, I hope you're still hearing me. When we're talking about more than 100, then we add an S to the spelling of son. So if you're going to talk about 200, it's de ce with an S at the end of C-E-N-T. Okay? Je veux 200 shillings. I want 200 shillings. Okay? Or j'ai besoin de 500. I need 500 shillings or 500 whatever. All right? 500. Now the so there has an S. But remember, if you're going to write 100 number followed by any other number, then the so does not have an S. For example, you want to talk about 522. You will say 522. But that so there will not have an S. I hope that is clear. I don't know if there is a question. I think I don't know how you're going to ask your questions, but I really do hope that it is clear. When you're writing 100 with no other attached number, then it's just so. If you're writing 200, simply 200, then it is doso with an S. Simply 300, troiso with an S. Simply 500, cinqso with an S. But if you're going to attach any other number to that 100, then you drop the S. It is, say for example, 345. Troiso, 45. That so word will not have an S. Okay? That so word will not have an S. And that is basically it about numbers. Because from there, what we do is we keep going back now to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know, then the other number that we probably want to learn about is 1000. And 1000 in French is mille. M-I-L-L-E. M-I-L-L-E. Mille, 1000. Now, mille never, ever, whatever its shape, it never takes an S. All right? And you don't say un mille, we always say mille if it's 1000. J'ai 1000 étudiants. I have 1000 students. J'ai 1000 étudiants. Okay? Je voudrais 10 000. No. Je voudrais 10 000. I'd like 10,000. We're asking for 10,000 books. Je voudrais 10 000 livres. I'd like 10,000 books. Now that meal does not have an S, and it never takes an S, all right? It never, ever takes an S. For meal, we don't have an S. Then whatever number of thousands, doso mil, 200,000, no S, okay? Doso mil, cinqso, 200,500 shillings, no S, okay? All right, I'm not talking about the meal, no S on the meal. All right, and now let's talk about a million. It's simply a million. Million. just the way you spell it in English, milieu. But now, million, unlike a mil, takes an S, it behaves like 100, all right? And we talk of 1 million, 1 million. 1 million, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and all of that. If you're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, so, 2, so, then you put an S on the million, okay? Then we have a billion, which we call milliard, M-I-L-L-I-A-R-D. M-I-L-L-I-A-R-D, milliard, right? I don't think anyone is going to test you on the use of milliard, but it's just good to know it, right? So that's a billion, all right? And of course, it doesn't take an S. Just like 1,000, it doesn't take an S. All right, so that's basically it with numbers. Now, the other aspect of numbers that you're likely to come across is dates. You will definitely use numbers when you're writing your dates. How do you go about it? How do you go about writing the dates? How do you go about writing, basically dates? Today is this day, the date and the year. So now in French, when you're writing dates, we begin by the day. So today is Friday. How do you say Friday in French? Vendredi. So we're going to say vendredi, le, L-E, the article, le, the masculine article, le, and then the date. Today is 17. So aujourd'hui, c'est mardi, followed by a comma, le 17, number 17. You don't write the words, you write the number 17. Le 17, juillet, July, juillet, and the year, in numbers. 2020, okay? Vendredi, virgule, le 17 juillet 2020, posto. I'll go again. Vendredi, virgule, which means comma, 17, no, excuse me, vendredi, virgule, le 17 juillet 2020. That's how we go about writing dates in French. At least a formal date should look like that. Doesn't mean that we don't write our dates as haphazardly as we do sometimes in English. If we're in a hurry, we just put the numbers, 17 stroke, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to write a formal date, the way I've said it, the way I've put it is how you're expected to write a date in French. If you're writing a formal letter, or you're writing a letter, or you're writing an exam, and you need to put a date there, that is how you go about writing dates in French. Okay, so now, considering that we've talked about numbers, I'd like us to talk about time, but well, really, we haven't touched time. We have not learned time in the short time that we're able to learn. We're not able to learn about time, but we can talk about a little bit about it so that as you go about your businesses of the day, you're able to talk about time in French, okay? Because it's basically numbers and how to talk about them, all right? So if you're going to talk about time in French, we use the 24-hour clock system, all right? We use the 24-hour clock system. And therefore, we're talking about knowing the numbers 1 up to 24. And of course, 1 up to 60 in as far as the minutes are concerned. Now, you simply just say the time as it is and the minutes. So for example, right now in English, it is 9:24 in the morning, which would be 0924 hours. And that's how we write time in French using the 24-hour clock system. So it's 01, 02, 03 up to 00, 0023, and then 000. Okay? It is, of course, the midnight hour. Now, if we're going to talk about time right now, 9:24 in the morning, is 0924 hours. We're going to say, c'est 9h24. Okay. C'est 9h24. I hope that is clear. So if I'm going to ask you what time it is in the next 10 minutes, you're probably going to tell me, il est 9h34. It's that simple. All right. So you talk of the hour and then the minutes. Now you don't have to state the minutes. Basically, what you just need to do is say the time as the hour. You say the time as the hour, and then you say the minutes. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. So I think now we can continue, but before we continue, I'd like to hear if there are any questions. I don't know how you're going to notify me that you have a question. In case you have a question, just what? I can't see you. So I'm unmuting all of you. I'm unmuting a few. Okay, I don't know how to get you guys to ask questions, so I'm gonna ask who? I'm gonna ask whoever's assisting me to see if we can get you guys to be able to ask questions, because I don't know how to go about this really. So, okay. Mr.
James has raised the hand. He's unmuted. James, unmute yourself and ask the question.
You're not able to find it. The right hand side. On the lower bar.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Would you repeat that on time?
I'm listening. Ask.
Would you repeat 9
I repeat
time?
Repetition of time.
Yes.
9. 9. Okay, if I'm going to talk about time right now, it's 9:28, yeah? And I am saying that we usually use the 24-hour clock system in French. We have learned that in primary school. We talk about time in 12-hour clock or 24-hour clock. So in French, okay, rather the French language generally uses the 24-hour clock system. So what we do is we talk about 09 to 8 hours, or if you're going to write it, it's 09H to 9. Right now it's 09 to
Madam Monia, you okay? Continue.
Mean hour, and 29. Yes? Okay, so we're gonna say in French, on va dire maintenant c'est 9h29. All right? Quelle heure est-il? Il est 9h29. It is 9 hours 29. 29 to me, 9 minutes. Normally, you can finish and say il est 9h29 minutes, but generally we don't finish with a minute because the assumption is, if I'm talking about hours, what follows is minutes. So we don't necessarily tell you that it is 9 o'clock and 29. Even in English, you say it's 9:29. It's the same thing with French. Il est 9 heures, then no. But if you're going to talk about 9:29 in the night, it would not be 9 because we're using the hour clock, the 24-hour clock. So it should be 21 or 29. All right. I hope I have answered your question. Let's hear another question.
Yes, we have Ben Mwiti.
Yes, but my question has been answered by Mwalim. It was the same question as James. Yes, teacher,
Okay.
if you have the notes, may you send
Good.
them? If you have the notes, send them.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that on WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that on WhatsApp. Yeah, I'll do that. And I also saw that Mr. Barasa had sent you some notes on the same, but I will forward you something concerning time. All right.
Dominic.
Another question. I can see some hands up.
Dominic.
Excuse me, teacher.
Go on, Dominic.
Excuse me, teacher. Teacher. Excuse me, teacher. What did you say? I believe.
Okay, guys, just wait for the teacher to rejoin. I think his network has some issues. Just be patient. It's coming back. Austin, can you see what is on the screen? John Munane, can you see what is on the screen?
Yes.
It's visible.
I don't know how to keep going. We can continue from where we stopped. Okay, all right. And I hope I have answered all the questions that were giving us issues. In case there are any other questions, you can send me via WhatsApp. I'll be able to answer them because I want to move on to something else, something a bit different from what we've talked about. It's also a revision in a way, but I'm not sure that all of us have talked about it. And this is pronunciation, French. I want us to look at accents. I don't know if you talked about this with your teachers when you started learning French. It's very basic for you to understand the use of accents in French, because it is accents that make the language different from whatever other language you know. It is accents that determine how we pronounce some words. It's accents that determine the meaning of words from others. So for those who are in my class, we have gone through this, and I'm not sure about the other classes, but I believe you must have also gone through it. But I wanted to go through it again, just to refresh our memory in as far as accents are concerned. All right. So in French, we have about 5 or 6 accents. And the first one is called accent aigu, A-I-G-U, accent aigu. It's the most common accent, and it's the one that we find basically on letter E. I don't think it occurs, it actually does not occur in any other letter. It only occurs on letter E, accent aigu, and it's the one that causes us or gives us the permission to pronounce it as E. All right. So we have seen it in words such as clé, nguo, la clé. You see that accent over there? That one is called an accent aigu. All right. Then we have debut in the beginning. On top of that E, we have an accent. All right. That accent is called accent aigu. Then we also have a word such as what? Let me see. I'm trying to think of words that are soirée, la soirée, the evening. Huh? We have an accent on the first E. That is accent aigu. Matinée, morning. That accent on the first E is called accent aigu. Now, that accent aigu is used to change the pronunciation of E, because we know E in French is pronounced as E, isn't it? We learned it when we were learning the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. So instead of saying it as E, once we put the accent aigu, then it's pronounced as E. That's how we say clé, matinée, soirée. All right. Now, that is accent aigu. It is also used when we get to Form 2. We will learn about the past tense in French. Now we use the accent aigu to change a verb from its infinitive form to its past participle form by adding an accent aigu to an E at the end of the word. We drop the R and then we add an E. We add an accent to the E at the end of the verb. For example, parler, we drop the R and then we add accent aigu. It becomes also still the pronunciation remains parler, but now the E is being pronounced so parle as in present tense. The present tense don't have an accent, so you say je parle français. I speak French. But if you wanted to say that I spoke French, you will say j'ai parlé français. But now instead of an R, we will have an accent aigu on top of the E, which is the last letter of the word. But that we will do when we get to Form 2. So for now, what I want us to understand is that accent aigu is used to change pronunciation of the letter E into E. All right. Then we have the second accent, accent grave. Is the opposite of accent aigu. All right. Accent grave is the opposite of accent aigu, and it is basically on top of the E, but sometimes you can also find it on other letters. For example, how do you say where in French? We say où. Okay. I hope you can hear me because I'm seeing that I'm being muted. Sasa sijui kunaendaje. Okay. I have been unmuted. So okay, all right, I think we can continue now. I was saying we have actual edu, which we use
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Umepotea tena sasa. We, umepotea tena. Ndio kuigua. Okay, guys, I think because of technical problems the teacher is experiencing, we'll have to end, the teacher has proposed that we end the meeting. You'll send the notes and whatever topic on your WhatsApp. So sorry for that. It's a technical problem where she is. So I don't know. I'll just end the meeting till next time.